The Power of Stepping Back to Avoid Burnout Before It's Too Late by Salon George. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. Anne Lamott. The demands just didn't let up for Emily. Working in a high-pressure industry, she was staring burnout straight in the face, feeling like she was barely keeping her head above water. She was always on the road, traveling half the time, juggling 15 to 20 projects that never seemed to end. Meetings filled her calendar from morning till night, and her phone felt like a ball and chain, tethering her to work 24/7. The job's never-ending demands had been creeping into every corner of her life, eating away at her sanity. Emily wasn't sleeping. Calls came in at all hours, late nights, early mornings, even weekends. No matter how much she worked, she always felt like she was falling behind. Her body was tired, her mind exhausted, and her relationships were starting to crumble. The dishes piled up, the laundry stayed unfolded, and even when she was home, she felt like she wasn't really there. Life had lost its color. Anger bubbled up constantly, and everyone around her seemed like just another obstacle. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. Emily is a fictional character, but her experience is all too real for many of us. Burnout can make you feel like you're losing control of everything, but burnout is really your body's signal that you need to step back to give yourself a chance to recharge. Still not convinced of the benefits of disconnecting rather than pushing through in the name of productivity? Here are a few thoughts to consider. 1. Your brain needs downtime to make better decisions. Our brains aren't designed for nonstop activity. In a world where hustle culture is celebrated, it's easy to forget that mental rest is not a luxury. It's a necessity. When overwhelmed by meetings and project deadlines, it's hard to make the best decisions. The constant barrage of demands leaves the mind foggy, struggling to prioritize, and unsure about what matters most. That's what burnout does. It hijacks your clarity. Think of your brain like a smartphone. When too many apps are running, it slows down, sometimes freezing altogether. That's what happens when we push ourselves without breaks. Giving your brain some downtime is like closing all those apps, letting the system reboot. Studies show that the brain needs time to process information and solve complex problems, and it does that best when we're not consciously working on them. So, when you feel like you're losing focus, it's not because you're not trying hard enough. It's because your brain needs time to breathe. Stepping away from work for a while, even if it feels counterintuitive, is often the most effective way to make better decisions later. 2. Downtime fuels creativity more than hustling ever will. Creativity doesn't thrive under constant pressure. If you've ever found yourself staring at a blank screen, willing the ideas to come, only to be met with silence, you know this all too well. Many of us have been there, stuck in the office late at night, hoping that forcing ourselves to work will spark some inspiration. But that's not how creativity works. The best ideas often come when you least expect them. Ever notice how solutions pop up when you're taking a shower or going for a walk? That's because the subconscious mind works best when it's not being watched. Downtime isn't a waste. It's where creative connections happen. When you step away, your mind wanders freely, making connections you wouldn't make otherwise. Some of the best breakthroughs often come during a walk or while spending time away from the desk. Taking a step back can feel like giving in to procrastination, but it's actually an investment in the kind of creative thinking that makes all the difference. 3. Disconnecting boosts focus and efficiency. We've been taught that multitasking is a skill to master, that being always on is a badge of honor. But the truth is, Constantly switching gears between tasks isn't efficient at all. It's draining. It's easy to think that keeping email open all day and replying instantly makes us more productive. Research tells us that every time you get interrupted, it takes an average of 23 minutes to regain your focus. Think about that. If you're switching between emails, meetings, and reports all day, you're never truly in the zone. Disconnecting, even if only for an hour, allows you to engage deeply in your work without the constant pull of notifications. It's like turning off all the background noise so you can actually hear the melody. Blocking out specific times to check email rather than constantly monitoring it can dramatically improve efficiency. 4. You're more likely to avoid burnout and keep thriving long term. Pushing yourself without limits might feel heroic in the moment, but it's a one-way ticket to burnout. Many people keep telling themselves they can handle it, that if they just work a little harder, sleep a little less, they'll catch up. But burnout doesn't care about willpower. It sneaks up slowly, taking away your motivation and zest for life. Stepping back isn't about giving up. It's about sustaining yourself. If you've ever watched a marathon, you know that the runners who pace themselves are the ones who finish strong. Life is no different. Taking time to rest is how you stay in the race. Setting boundaries around work time isn't lazy. It's smart. It kept her from burning out completely and allowed her to stay effective in the long run. 5. Stepping away enhances relationships. Burnout doesn't just affect your productivity, it affects your relationships. Burnout often leads to snapping at partners, dodging friends, and growing resentful of family members for wanting time. When you're stretched thin, everyone around you becomes a stressor instead of a support. But here's the surprising part. Stepping back from work can actually make you a better colleague and a better leader. Relationships aren't just important in your personal life. They're crucial in your professional one too. When you're well rested, you're more patient, more empathetic, and more capable of working well with others. Taking time to disconnect and truly recharge can lead to becoming a more understanding colleague or leader. So, if you're feeling like you're failing the people in your life, it might not be because you're not trying hard enough. It might be because you're trying too hard at work. Stepping away gives you the emotional capacity to be present for those who matter most. 6. You'll actually become more available by being less available. Let's get back to our fictional Emily. She thought being available 24/7 made her indispensable. She answered emails during dinner, took calls at her kids' activities, and her attention was always divided. But despite her constant availability, she was never fully present, neither at work nor at home. When Emily finally set boundaries around her work hours, she noticed a shift. By being less available to her job during personal time, she became more present and focused when it mattered most. Her colleagues respected her time, and her productivity actually increased. At home, she was able to truly connect with her family, enjoying dinner without interruptions, and being fully engaged in her children's lives. It's counterintuitive, but stepping back from work gave Emily the emotional capacity to show up more effectively in every area of her life. When she was on, she was truly on, and when she was off, she could finally relax. 7. Your health will thank you, and so will your career. Burnout doesn't just affect mental and emotional well-being. It takes a toll on physical health too. Long hours at a desk lead to exhaustion, back pain, and a weakened immune system. It's easy to dismiss these symptoms as part of the grind, but over time, burnout can cause serious health issues. Taking a step back isn't just good for physical recovery, it can dramatically improve work performance. Proper rest, regular exercise, and prioritizing sleep lead to better focus, improved mood, and increased productivity. Just like a car needs fuel to run efficiently, the body needs care and rest to function at its best. Stepping back not only safeguards health, but it ensures the energy and clarity needed for long-term success in any career. Finding your way back. If you're feeling stretched thin, know this: you're not failing, you're not alone, and things can change. Stepping back gives you space to breathe and find your center again. Burnout robs you of joy, but taking care of yourself gives it back. You deserve more than just surviving. You deserve to thrive. Take the first step, however small. Let's get that spark back. You're worth it.